right. All right, so this is Team 6, and this is our final presentation for our service learning project. I'm Julie Smith.
I'm Heidi Tuttle.
I'm Carolyn Sherwood.
And I'm Kristen Augie.
Okay. So we did our service learning project at CFUM, and Carolyn, I'll let you start.
Okay. Our community partner was Children and Family of Urban Movement, also known as CFUM. Back in the late 1960s, program was started for children to have breakfast available for them before school. This is in the Riverbend neighborhood in Des Moines. Evening meals were added. This was called the Supper Club, and this was for the children and also their families and anybody else in the community who needed a meal. Programs continued to develop based on need, and in 2003, the organization then changed its name to CFUM. The mission of CFUM is to create a community that supports the potential of children, youth, and families through educational success, healthy living, and community engagement. Our focus for the project was on the program called The Haven, which is a free after-school program, childcare program for the children who attend Moulton Elementary. As volunteers, we helped the kids with their homework, we had them read to us, or we played games with them. The Haven is a safe and welcoming environment that brings the best out. That brings out the best in the children, helps them build leadership skills, and reinforces respect. Next is Kristen.
Hi, I'm going to cover the first objective that we proposed at the beginning of this project. And our objective was to interact with children from different socioeconomic statuses, cultures, and background. And get a better understanding of lives and challenges that face particularly children in ways that we would normally come about in our everyday lives. We would then like to apply that through our professional career as nurses, hoping that that would prepare us to be the best caregiver that we could. I think personally for myself, and speaking for the rest of the group, I think that we would all agree that we did meet this objective. I would like to follow this up with some examples, and I would like to begin by quoting our first series of readings in the class by Mr. Greenleaf, The Servant as a Leader. I thought this was a great book to begin with, and one of the sentences that stuck out with me in the beginning and throughout the whole semester, who is a servant leader? And he quotes on page 15, "The servant leader is a servant first." And this really spoke to me because I really didn't feel that I was a leader at CFUM, but I did feel like I was a servant. And I think that speaks soundly. And I was also able to carry it over in my personal life as a wife and a mom, being a servant as well. Those children taught me how lucky I am and increased my patience. And I think the Supper Club is wonderful. I think that we all come from the same table. And I think it was wonderful for those children to experience seeing all different types of people there. And I'm hoping that we all were able to teach them to be servants too. I think as a servant, we gave the children time and we gave them attention, and we were kind of all a village, helping give them self-worth. And I think being a servant, listening and speaking with them one-on-one or in a group, there were many, many examples where I think that rang true. And I think that will follow over in our nursing care, because I think that we will be caring for the homeless. We will be caring for the poor. We will be caring for criminals. And to be a servant and give the best care we can as far as being non-judgmental.
Yeah, so and then for our second objective, we decided to engage with children by finding new activities that will help build their leadership skills and work on a team. So part of the Haven's focus is on leadership and building skills that will prepare the children to succeed not only now, but also in the future. So as a team, we recognize the importance of leadership and teamwork, basically, because I mean, that's part of being a servant leadership or a servant leader. And so we wanted to include this as a part of our service learning project. Leadership and teamwork were constantly stressed and incorporated into the Havens after school program. The children were encouraged to work together to clean up, whether it was after snack time, after reading and doing their homework, putting things away, and even before they went inside from recess, they all had to work together to clean up all the supplies that they had taken outside. And it was stressed that it wasn't the supervisors or the volunteers' responsibility. It was the children's, and that was kind of how they built on those skills and gave them those responsibilities. So when the children see one person helping, we notice that it usually triggered a few more to step in. And eventually the majority of the children were doing their part to help. So for one of the activities, the children were divided into teams and they were given a task to create their own obstacle course. There were very few rules, and it was up to the children to design an obstacle course, map it out on a large piece of paper. They gathered the appropriate supplies, such as like jumping ropes. They decided to use different balls and different cones to go in and out of. And then once they got outside, they were then required to set it up on their own. The children were required to work on a team, listen to each other's ideas, and then delegate certain tasks. So, such as like who would be the one to actually map it out, who would gather what supplies, and so on. And then they had to work together to get everyone through the course. And a few of the children demonstrated those leadership skills by being the one to demonstrate how to complete the course, because it seemed like some of the children needed help, and those certain children stepped up and were the ones to guide them. The kids were also encouraging their teammates, and once one person started cheering on one other person and the rest of them joined, and it was a nice little cheering section for all of the kids, and it definitely motivated the ones that were going through the course to finish it. And it definitely seemed like at first the kids were intimidated by this task because there wasn't very much guidance, and they kind of had to use each other and brainstorm different ideas and bounce those ideas off of each other and develop a plan that they think would be fun and something new that they hadn't necessarily done before.
Our third objective or proposal was to incorporate proper hand washing for the kids. Unfortunately, we were not able to meet that proposal due to liability issues. The Haven doesn't allow adults other than the staff members to go into the bathroom with the children. So we were not able to demonstrate the proper hand washing, but it was definitely encouraged by the staff members for children to wash their hands. They were required to wash their hands once they got to the Haven after school, before snack time, after recess, before dinner, and it was even put on they had a whiteboard that had their daily schedule of what they were going to do. And first thing on there was hand washing. So it was definitely stressed by staff members to keep them have their hands clean and everything before they did anything. So that was really reassuring to see. So unfortunately, we weren't able to demonstrate it, but we are glad to see that it was so stressed throughout the Haven and even during the supper club. So we were kind of disappointed, but at the same time, we were glad that the staff members were taking that initiative to do it, even though they weren't really able to watch the kids do it. So.
Okay. I did want to share one thing. During one of the after-school sessions, students from Central College and Pella were also volunteering, and one of the young men, well, he's an adult, but the look on his face was like total shock, and he said to me, I grew up in a small town, and to have these children from all these socioeconomic backgrounds and ethnic groups just was a really different experience for him, and I'm glad that we were able to have this experience, and it was definitely valuable for us and for our future careers. So in conclusion, we were able to complete 2 of our 3 goals for the project. Happily, the third objective had already been addressed by the program when one is in place, and we all really enjoyed working with the children.
And to just to talk about your programs and different ideas, we think it would be important to focus on other healthy eating ideas. So that was another thing that we had kind of talked about, was doing a cooking class, but unfortunately we didn't meet with the program supervisor soon enough. And so some of the ideas that we had for future students would doing different like health education programs for healthy eating, kind of showing what healthy foods are and how they're digest differently than processed food, or even building different meals and kind of showing them how simple it is to add healthy ingredients to your meals instead of processed foods, and also even starting a garden. That would be something for like the summer semester, that once it's nice out, because when we first started, it was still a little chilly in the spring. So starting a garden and kind of getting all the children involved, I think that's really what will leave a lasting impression on the children, is when they get involved and they get excited about something and they're able to get their hands on it, then I think they're more likely to continue that in the future.
I would also like to add a side note about the food. We also did, when they were eating supper, we went around and we praised the students who chose fruits or vegetables, and asked them, what other fruits and vegetables do you like, and encouraged. And they always had plenty of options available during the supper club and also during the snack time with fruits and vegetables as well. And I just wanted to add in one more side note, that the director, in the middle of the semester, we did have a change of the director in the Haven program. Miss Ruth resigned, and Miss Janelle took her place in the middle. That also was a hamper in our ability to implement some of the ideas that we did want to, if that could be taken into consideration as well.
Yep. All right. So, I mean, overall, we definitely had a great experience. We loved working with the children every day. They put a smile on our face when we were waiting for them down in the cafeteria area, and they all came in and they were all so excited and just ready to interact with us, and they were always so kind, and it was fun to kind of just watch them and then interact with them at the same time. So we really enjoyed our experience and learned that what being a super leader really is. Well, thank you.